All right, this is not what we voted for. Guys, hit that hype button for your boy. If you got some spare hypes, I need them like a crackhead need a pipe. Let's get into this one. This is not what we voted for. MAGA is regretting putting Trump in office.
All right, so we attack Iran. Everyone knows that. Everyone's seen it. The only people that this really benefits, it's not us. We benefit absolutely nothing from attacking Iran. The people that benefit from this is Israel. They're the ones who wanted it. They are the ones who have the blackmail on all of the important people in the United States to make this happen. And now it's happened. We didn't need to. Do you really think those negotiations fell apart, or did we back out of them? This is what Iran's wanted this entire time, is to get us into another war. And it's happened so many times. 9/11, the false flag attacks on one of our ships to try and get us into yet another war. It's always been them. I think everyone pretty much knows that. But, you know, unfortunately, I'm a Christian, and there are a lot of other Christians out there that are still, you know, gung-ho for Israel for no freaking reason at all, because they...
I want the people in Israel to do the DNA test. Show us what's what. Are you really the people who you say you are? That's what I want to know.
Have this twisted idea in their brains that we have to do or die by Israel because they claim that the Bible says so in Genesis 12:3. So Genesis 12:3, it's you know, it says those who curse you will be cursed, those who bless you will be blessed, something like that. Yeah, that's not talking about the nation of Israel, dude. The nation of Israel as it exists today is not through the grace of God in 1948. It is through political Zionism, and that's why the nation of Israel exists as it does today. Okay, all my fellow Christians out there that sit there and say, oh, we have to stand by Israel with everything that we have. Can I ask you why you think that? Because the Bible doesn't support that. When God is talking to Abraham in Genesis 12:3, and he says, those who bless you and your descendants will be blessed, those who curse you and your descendants will be cursed, he's talking about Abraham's descendants. Who comes from the line of Abraham? Jesus does. Okay, so he's saying those who bless you and your descendants. So he's saying that the line of Abraham, eventually leading up to Jesus Christ himself, because Jesus, again, comes from the line of Abraham. So we owe nothing to the established political Zionist, secular, Ashkenazi Jewish nation of Israel. We owe nothing to them. Okay, so they're going to continue to pull us into more armed conflicts. We're going to continue to send them billions of dollars. They're going to continue to try and kill people that speak out against them. Charlie Kirk. Yeah.
Hey, man, people are upset with Trump, man. Some of his most loyal supporters have basically turned on him, dog. And the crazy thing is, I've been doing a lot of studying about this war in Iran or whatever, and what I've gathered so far is that this is going to be an economic disaster for the GCC, the Gulf Coast countries or whatever they call, like, you know, Dubai and all of those places. So the end game is basically to just outlast America, because it's so expensive for us to defend ourselves from those ballistic missiles that Iran can produce at least 100 of every single month, while we can only produce 6 to 7 of those interceptors, THAAD. That's Israel and America combined. In 1 month, we can only produce 6 to 7 of the things that protect us from the hundreds of ballistic missiles that they can create in Iran every single month. And we don't know where they're coming from, too. So it's like they're going to bleed us dry. That's what they're saying. On top of that, once we can no longer defend those missiles, they're going to start attacking the financial infrastructure, the foundation that keeps this whole thing together, the glue. Once all of that fails, then we're hit. That's what they're trying to do. And then they're talking about we killed their leader, this, that, and the third. Okay, cool. Okay, we seen that happen in 2003 in Iraq. That don't mean nothing. They're going to keep coming. They're going to replace those people. Bro, it's just bad, dog. I don't think this is going to end well.
I voted for Trump and I regretted my vote. No, you don't. You got exactly what you deserve. I voted.
Yeah, I voted for Trump. Absolutely. Did I know he was going to increase the tariffs? Yes, I did. However, I thought that the infrastructure would be set up prior for small business to come back to America and manufacture.
Okay.
Why did you think that? What possible evidence could you have based that thought on?
Not economic evidence, not historical evidence, nothing. Crazy.
Don't listen to the Democrats. I promise you, not a single Republican is regretting voting for Donald Trump.
I literally just
I've been seeing this weird rhetoric all over my For You page over the past couple of weeks because I think that like a lot of you guys are starting to watch Candace Owens and her podcast recently. No, we don't. 100,000 fucking 52%. We do not regret voting for Donald Trump.
Au contraire, I've come across at least 50 videos in the past 20 minutes just looking briefly of people who regret voting for Trump and who regret MAGA. Candace Owens being the number one culprit in this is hilarious to me, and this made my week, especially since tomorrow's Juneteenth. And I have to share it with you guys because they're now regretting it, and too little, too late.
I never thought that I would see a day where I would be rooting for a university above Donald J. Trump and his administration, but I don't
Crazy work.
I want to make something very clear. The only reason you're leaving MAGA is because your little life isn't going the way you thought it would under Donald Trump. But you don't give two shits about all the people you hurt with those votes.
Hey, bro, listen. Donald Trump spoke to white people who felt like their life was crumbling around them because other people who are not white are coming to take land, jobs, resources, and their women. It all boils down to that. That's what it was, bro. He created a cult-like following. He said, this is what they thinking. This is what I can continue to do. And it's always been a play out of the conservatives playbook. The conservatives used to be the Democrats. Now the conservatives are the Republicans, right? I taught y'all, well, I ain't taught y'all that, but you know, back in the day, like 1828 is when the Democratic Party started. Then 1854 is when the Republican Party started. And if you go do any research in the past, looking at news articles, any journalistic investigation, when they describe the Democrats from 1800s to the early 1900s, they all were described as Southern conservatives. Them was the racist fuckers. The Republicans was from the North, and they were a little bit more enlightened. They were more about trying to get the government bigger and all of that kind of stuff, right? And then some flip-flopping happened. You get what I'm saying? So, yeah, what I'm saying is the conservatives have always used the same talking point. Make one group of people feel like the minority group of people are coming to take what they got. And if you don't vote for me, you're going to die. Basically, that's what the conservatives almost always preach.
I'm sure you've seen this video at this point. It's going around. It's another woman talking about trying to deconstruct from MAGA and talking about how difficult it's been, essentially to find a safe place. And I want to try to talk about this in good faith, but I also need to talk about it with the gravity that it really deserves.
Quick side note, at least once a day, I get a comment or an email asking, how do I do this YouTube thing? How do I make reaction videos? If you're interested in making money on YouTube and not just arguing in the comment sections, I run a private YouTube growth group. We do weekly calls, live channel audits, and you get to see how other creators are making money, plus how I got this channel to where it's at 37,000 today when it only had 3,000 in October, and how I plan on making this channel go to 100K before the end of the year. Link in the description.
Because in her video, she essentially talks about, she reads a comment from another person, basically saying that she sort of feels this way. This other person says about their trip through deconstructing MAGA and how they couldn't find any safety in the left, even though they thought that that's what the left wanted. And now they're just going to do their own thing. And, I'm not going to vote blue, but et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Again, I want to try to do this in good faith, but I need you to realize what was done, because with your vote, you feel so separated from your actions. And here's what is true. When people look at you, they see someone that walked up to them and said, I don't care if your family gets thrown in the trash. When a rape victim looks at you, they see someone that has walked up to them, pointed in their face and said, I don't care what happened to you. I don't care if you have to carry your rapist baby to term. When you look at these people that are struggling to pay their bills, they are literally seeing a human being that essentially walked up to them and pointed at them and says, I don't give a shit how expensive things are going to get.
Hey, man, perfect example. And I hope I'm talking about the right person. I think it was Pam Bondi at a hearing, and some of the Epstein victims were literally behind her, and a woman asked her, will you at least turn around and look these women in the face and tell them that you are deeply sorry for what happened to them? And she refused to do it. I think it was Pam Bondi, if I'm not mistaken. Speaks to what he's speaking to right there. Concrete example, bro. That shit was so distasteful in my opinion. Had that been me, I'd have turned around and said, damn, I'm really sorry about the unfortunate set of events that happened to y'all, if I truly had empathy towards these people. But you could tell she didn't.
I don't care as long as I get what I want. And it's because the right lacks this level of direct ability to empathize. You feel like 3 times over, you were disconnected from that.
Guys, one more example. Donald Trump, when he's asked or speaking about any Americans who have unfortunately lost their lives in the occupancy of Iran. Well, they're not even occupying Iran. They can't even get troops on the ground. But anyways, American military personnel has been killed. And the way he speaks about it, you can literally tell he does not give a shit. No empathy, bro. If his empathy score from 1 to 10 was a thing, it would be on the lowest scale possible, probably 1 being the worst that it could possibly be. Meaning, I wouldn't piss on you if you was on fire.
And on the whole, progressive-leaning, left-leaning people, it is easier for us to empathize with the struggles of other human beings. So when we vote, we look at all of the black people that have been murdered extrajudiciously by police, and we say, I am voting so that this doesn't happen to these members of my community again. We see all the Hispanic people, Latino people, and we go, I am voting so that these people in my community don't get harassed. I am voting to protect them. I am voting for every woman, not just the women in my life, but all the women that I will never meet, so that they don't have to carry their rapist's baby, so that if they come to the point where something terrible happens and they have to make that difficult choice, they are permitted to make their own medical choices on their own without worrying about what the state says. So that Muslim people and atheist people don't have to worry about what Christian maniacy some podunk local politician wants to shove down their throats and somehow legal. But you casted your vote as if it was this far off thing. And those other people, oh, that's the other people. Those the far away people. And so you're not going to get all that much grace from a group of people that in their emotional perspective feel like you reached out intentionally to hurt people in their community because you didn't see any of these people as human beings. And hopefully you will. Hopefully you'll learn to. But no one wants to be your friend because you're like the drunk driver that murdered a family while driving down the road.
Ooh.
The thing happened and you realize how bad it was. You're like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. Yes, that was a mistake. I never should have done that. Look at the harm that I caused. And you're mad because the rest of the family of the people you killed don't want to be your friend. I hope this is helpful.
It's almost like they're saying to themselves, why should I vote to make civilization better for everyone? What's in it for me? Like, I'm gonna say this. Me personally, bro, I think both political parties are like 2 wings on the same bird for the most part, right? Because these people have been in office forever, most of them since before I was born. With that being said, what I do seem to see from like personal level, the people I personally know who are MAGA supporters are usually, I don't give a shit about nothing else, what's in it for me, versus a slightly less degree, the people who vote left, Democratic, they're more voting about things that can help a lot of people. It ain't just always about them, right? It's like they vote for things that's going to help everyone and the other ones don't.
Son doesn't matter.
Donna is also the mother of a Marine.
Yes.
An active Marine in Okinawa today.
Yes, sir.
It's my understanding you also voted for President Trump.
Yes, sir. And in this breaking story, this man's answer to the question is stone cold correct.
Why did you vote for him?
Because I was an idiot. And now, while it's always been in Minnesota or Maine or picking on California, remember, most of the undocumented immigrants in this country are in Texas and Florida. And this breaking story hits right close to home with FAFO in Trump's backyard in Florida. Check this video out right here.
Please, she does not deserve this. She's the sweetest person and she prayed for you.
A desperate plea to President Trump from a South Florida man fearing his life partner could be deported to Cuba at any moment. He reached out to our Christian De La Rosa to share his story and his remorse.
It's been 8 months. I didn't know a man could cry this much. I did not think that this would happen.
Wayne DeMario has been working overtime at a Southwest Miami-Dade guitar shop, trying to distract himself from his pain and regret.
I hate to see her going through this. She's my best friend.
His life partner of nearly 20 years, Yamile Alcantu, originally from Cuba. ICE detained her back in June.
8 months that she's been taken. I call it kidnapped because it basically is.
He says it happened.
Oh, it's kidnapping because they took your wife, but It's not kidnapping when they take other people's wives.
During what they thought was just another immigration check-in.
They grabbed her, put her in shackles and chains.
She'd been checking in annually, as so many do, hoping to fix her status. She lost her legal residency and got a deportation order back in 2008 after a traffic stop.
They go through her purse, and then they dump the purse out, and 3 Xanax pills fall out.
But in those years, he says, they didn't think much of it.
Cuban's not going to get deported, so don't worry about it.
Today, DHS has her listed among the worst of the worst, a criminal arrested for dangerous drugs in possession.
Oh, wow.
Wayne feels it's a slap in the face.
I didn't vote for this, but I definitely voted Republican.
So you believe that all of the illegals, the undocumented citizens or the whatever, right? And you believe that they were all harsh criminals, drug dealers and traffickers and human traffickers and all of that kind of stuff, only to find out that a lot of times they was lying and hyping up what they actually had. For instance, she said they had 3 Xanax fall out of her purse. They documented that shit and then put it out there as if she was a real drug dealer, dog. She had 3 little funky pills. Y'all drunk the Kool-Aid, bro.
He says both were staunch supporters of President Trump.
When you said I didn't vote for this, what did you think you had voted for?
I really thought this was just going to be something organized. But it's obviously not. They just blanket everybody.
Alcantu, calling from her detention facility in Louisiana.
Son does.
Oh, you out here in my state, man? That's crazy. Y'all know what I noticed. So Cubans in Miami, a lot of them vote for Trump. It is what it is. A lot of them just love white people, man. She probably was supportive of Trump because her white husband was. Had she had any sense, she'd have been like, nah, I need to try to convince him not to vote for Trump. But she didn't have no sense.
So a lot of MAGA are upset right now. They feel betrayed. Some of them are even scared. They're worried about their loved ones who might be in the Middle East for one reason or another. Now, my message to you is, instead of having all of those complicated feelings, what you should really do, since you voted for this, is you should feel great again. Good job. You've done it.
Yeah, I'm reading a comment right now, right? Someone says, I do feel great. You see, I signed on the line and literally said I would give my life for my country. What have you done other than cry and whine and only think about yourself? Jackass. Oh, by the way, have literally never heard any MAGA say what you were saying. Stop putting words in their mouths, you fucking hyena. The thing is this, I know actual real people in the military and none of them are excited about what's going on. They are literally afraid. They are scared. They don't want to have to get deployed over there or have to be in that fight. A lot of people join the military to get free education, to get skills so that they can get job in the private sector, to buy a Challenger or a Hellcat. Like, none of this had to do with them potentially fighting a war. None of them signs up for that. And I know ain't nobody black for the most part, unless they are trying to tap dance for people who sound like this guy. Signed up to go to war, bro. Like, I'm telling you, bro, I know, man, I've been black my whole life, dog. We ain't too hard up about trying to die for Israel. Just calling a spade, bro.
You know, I thought it would be easier the more I talked about leaving MAGA, being a 3-time Trump voter. But I have to be completely honest with you that it's not getting easier, and it actually feels like it's getting more difficult.
Hey, side note, I couldn't set no camera up and cry. I'll cry on my own time. Y'all ain't gonna see it.
Because I'm gaining more empathy, and I don't think people really realize how counterintuitive the hate that I receive when you can take one look at my page and see that I am doing the work. I read a comment this morning that I'm not stitching because I don't want hate to come our way. But you'll understand why I'm reading it.
Oh,
I've been deconstructing from Christianity and left MAGA. I do not speak about it because the hate you receive from the left is no different from the hate you received when you were in the cult. I'm just minding my own business and rewiring my whole belief system. What people don't understand is how hard it is to actually wake up and realize your entire life has been a lie, and now you have to start over from scratch. I'm not going to allow any negativity from anyone into my life. It's hard enough to do this. I can't see. I had to stop and gather myself.
Oh my God.
Not only that, I'm not going to be a part of any political party or religion ever again. So the expectation of the left thinking we have to vote blue now in order to make amends or something is not something I want to be a part of. The amount of "I'll never forgive you" I see in your last video is enough for me to never try to speak up on anything that's happened to get me here. My entire family is deep Southern conservative Christian Republicans. It's been buried into my...
All I just heard was racist. Straight up. That's all I heard. Southern conservative Christian. That's 1 + 1 + 1 = 3. There you go.
My whole system since birth. Seeing my truth and removing myself from it has been the hardest thing I've ever done. I don't really know what else to say other than, like, I don't think that this is what the left wants. You've been shouting for people to wake up for years, and people do.
Man, nobody want to see these fake ass tears, man.
That it didn't happen soon enough. And I don't believe that. I can't believe that. I have too much hope in my soul to roll over and die. I don't know what the solution is, but I know it's not to beat people while they're already down.
Oh man, look at these comments, man. You showed up to the wedding late. We're all super glad you're here, but we're all also going to let you know you were late. There we go. I said it last time and I'll say it again. I am glad you're deconstructing and learning how to empathize, but you don't get to tell people you harmed you how to react to your deconstruction. I get that it is painful, but your pain as a result of your own actions is no one else's responsibility. Facing consequences is painful, but essential. I think continuing to speak out and take accountability in spite of the pain is the best path forward, and I wish you well. Crazy work, man.
They don't mean it. They don't mean it. Anyone who posts a video crying, snot running down their face, saying, I voted for him 3 times and I regret it, and then turn around and say, why isn't anyone being nice to me? I told you I regret it. They don't mean it. They don't mean it. Because genuine regret means nothing unless it is followed with actions.
Facts.
Show me how much you regret it. Don't expect anything. Show me how much you regret it. What are you doing to fix the egregious errors of your ways? I made a mistake. Now give me a hug. Tell me it's okay. Coddle me. Don't hold me responsible for anything. That's not regret. That is jumping ship, joining what you assume is the winning side, and hoping no one's gonna notice me while I'm here. I can just blend in.
You know, that's kind of like, dog, I love this movie. Inglourious Bastards. This is what she's doing. She's Brad Pitt right now. She's holding the used to be Nazis accountable. And I'm speaking figuratively, trying to bring home a point. In that movie, they were a bunch of Jewish people who set out to punish any Nazi that they came across. And sometimes, due to certain circumstances, they would spare a used to be Nazi. But they would ask him this one question. What do you plan on doing once you leave here? Oh, I'm going to burn this suit. I'm going to take this hat off. And then Brad Pitt's character would say, I was afraid you'd say that. See, that doesn't sit right with me. I don't need you to be able to just go out there and assimilate with regular people. We got to let people know that you used to be a Nazi. So they used to give them the scarlet letter, basically, and they would carve it in there with a knife in that movie. That's what they need to do to some of these. This is what they need to do to some of those ex-MAGA Republicans, man. Figuratively, I ain't saying it because, you know, YouTube with the community guidelines be tripping, dog.
And I don't want any responsibility. Because I'm just, oh my God, I'm just so sad, guys. I can't believe that. I can't believe I was like, I hope God forgives me. Nope. They don't. Now, I'm not saying that every single person who has, grown a brain and realized, hey, that was insane, or I was just evil and now I'm not. I'm not saying that every single one of those people is, a charlatan and is faking this. No, it's the people who are making these videos and then being like, why isn't anyone being nice to me? Because you don't mean it. Mm-hmm. Because you're a terrible person.
Horrible.
And because we know that. Mm-hmm. That's why we do not owe you things. You owe everyone something because you are responsible for destroying this country. So no, we don't owe you kindness. We don't owe you anything. We don't say, hey guys, let's be nice to them. No. This is akin to someone saying, hey, this horrible thing happened to me. This person did it to me. And then you being like, okay, so stop making it weird. All right, just move on. Get over it.
Listen, bruh, I'm just calling a spade a spade. It kind of sounds like when black folks bring up every single thing that this country has done to them. Wait, we know, but stop bringing it up. In fact, let's stop teaching this shit all together in school.
That's the same thing. So no, I don't buy it. I don't buy any video of anyone setting up the camera, crying, and then being like, I just made a horrible mistake, and please just show me some grace and kindness. Nope.
Does anyone else get the feeling she's talking about this lady right here?
I thought it was
when did this video came? This video came out 6 days ago. She came out with this video 4 days ago. She has to be making a reaction to that lady, bro. Has to be.
In 2 weeks, I'm done. You want to talk about regretting your vote?
I never thought I'd say that, but I regret my vote. I voted for Trump.
I voted for Trump, and I regret it now.
As a Hispanic, I voted for Donald J. Trump. Dude, I regret it so much, man.
I am regretting my vote for Donald Trump.
I voted for Donald Trump, and now I regret it.
A lot of people who were like me voted for Trump and have to account for that.
Hey, bro, you know what this proves, though? At least these people are smarter than the average MAGA because they realize that they fucked up. The rest of them are willing to die on that hill. Crazy work. Guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you got some hypes to spare, I need them like a crackhead need a pipe. Holla at your boy, man. I'm going to be at y'all later.